everybody, this is Mindvine from expanton.com, and I just wanted to start off a series of analysis I'm going to be doing, different news stories, and one of the things that is big on people's minds today is the whole swine flu thing. And that's for a lot of reasons. Some people are genuinely afraid of actual swine flu. Some people are more afraid of what actually is going to be brought into play under the justification of protecting people from swine flu. And there's a lot of different perspectives on what's going on here, and I'm going to give you some of my own and some of the possible consequences of this activity. Now, first and foremost, if you've done any kind of research into the swine flu, you'll see a few things that are inconsistent with the whole public story being sold here. Number one, the most blaring piece of evidence, if you look at the number of deaths that happen every year from the regular seasonal flu, you'll see that they are way, way ahead of anything that's happened so far with swine flu. There was something, a few hundred deaths, I think, worldwide from swine flu. I don't know what the current tally is, but it hasn't peaked over 1,000 yet. And the regular flu deaths were around 50,000. So just gives you a little idea of, the hype that's being involved here. Secondly, one of the things that is causing a lot of concern for people is the fact that Baxter, the one who's producing these vaccines that are going to be distributed worldwide, is currently involved in legal action against them in Austria for releasing a vaccine which had a live bird flu virus in it. Now, let me say that again. They released a vaccine with live bird flu in it. And this just wasn't once or twice. This was tons and tons of vaccine. And they have procedures specifically put into place to make sure things like this do not happen. So it is virtually impossible that this was a mistake. Somebody did this on purpose. Now, would this be the first time that pharmaceutical or medical companies have taken the interest of profits over the interest of people's health? No, it wouldn't be. That's one of the huge concerns that people are having about this whole issue. Thirdly, there is the whole tie-in with the Obama healthcare deal. Now, the thing that personally frightened me about this is if you look at the system that they have specifically in the UK, it is less about providing healthcare for people and more about gaining control over people. Now, if the state controls every aspect of your physical well-being, that creates a considerable amount of power over you. And if you are someone who is a dissident or is an outspoken opponent to the current administration, you can only imagine what kind of problems it can cause you. For example, recently I read a story about a woman who had her daughter vaccinated for, I believe it was the cervical cancer vaccine Gardasil, and it caused her to be paralyzed from the waist down. And the mother was trying to bring this to the doctor's attention, but they wouldn't listen, and they kept misdiagnosing it and saying it was other things and anything else but the vaccine. Now, this is putting a lot of stress on the public system and, in fact, bringing them into legal liability. So what do they do in retaliation? They bring in social services to remove her children from her because she didn't agree with the doctor's diagnosis. That's where we're headed in the United States. They're going to be telling us what kind of medical treatment we should be giving our children. It's not going to be our choice anymore. And that's what they're going to do to each and every one of us, because we are becoming property of the state, more so than we already are. And that's what this whole healthcare deal is turning into. And this swine flu is just going to be the event that kicks it off and brings it into fruition and gives justification for radical new systems. And it's not because it's a huge threat, it's because they use the media to hype it up and to create cognitive dissonance, problem, reaction, solution. They get everybody scared as hell about what's going to happen to them. Everybody's paranoid. They got signs up everywhere in the airports. People are walking around with masks. Then they say, oh, we have this new set of rules. It's going to fix all this stuff. And the people allow it to happen because they think it's going to protect them. But really all they're doing is providing them an outlet for the fear that they created themselves. And then they're going to find out later what really happened is they just gave up control over their own bodies. The last and probably the most frightening aspect of this whole situation is the fact that this whole swine flu scenario is being used to justify all kinds of totalitarian action, removing people's rights. For example, in Massachusetts, they just passed a state law stating that they can confiscate any of your property and enter your home without a warrant. They can destroy any material. That's what the wording says, any material, which, who knows, that could be you. Your body is material, technically. And if you wanted to stretch the legal definition, I'm sure there's a couple lawyers out there who could make it sound right. They also are providing loopholes saying that people wouldn't have the right to have religious rights for burial. They would just confiscate the body and burn it. That's where this country's headed, and it's all based on fear. It's all based on making you afraid, so you give up your rights. So that's my perspective on where this is going, and my opinion is, and I'm here to tell you to not be afraid, because that's the only way we're going to win as people, is if we stick together and stop looking about what separates us and look about what makes us common, and not fear what's coming, and look in the eye and look those people in the eye who are telling us that we need to do this stuff, and tell them we don't need it, and we're not afraid, and we don't need this crap. So I put it back on you, people, whoever's listening. Don't let it get to you. Don't let it scare you, because if they scare you, they win and you lose your freedom.